Ooh, what's going on, y'all? Yeah, let's get right into this video. First of all, I hope y'all had a good week, a pleasant week, a good work week, a good school week. You know, it's a lot of people. I forgot to shout these people out. Joe Nathan, he had a birthday on September 30th, I believe. I know he had a good time. Shout out to Tamika. She had a birthday recently. Miss P had a birthday recently. Damn. Um, Everybody and their mama had birthdays. It's a whole bunch. If I just missed them the ones that I remember off the top of my head right now, who had a birthday that I really fucks with right about now. But if it's your birthday, happy birthday to you. If it's coming up within this week, happy birthday to you. Um, hit me up on Facebook or hit me up in the comments if you got a birthday coming up next week. I'll shout you out in the next video. Girl, look, trying some new things. Y'all know when y'all don't get a video on Friday, it's one reason only, most likely. Because the bitch had to she waiting to get her hair done on Saturday. So when she get through getting her hair done on Saturday, she's going to come back and give y'all a fresh face, fresh look video. And that's what I just had to do. But, anyway, um, let's get into this. Okay, a whole lot of stuff been happening, world news wise. We have the situation with the Ebola patient, the Liberian guy who visited Liberia to help out over there. I guess he was on some missionary work or whatever he was doing. But he wound up helping someone, a young woman, being a good Samaritan that he probably was, trying to help her get to a hospital because she did have the disease Ebola and the virus. And, the hospital, like I said in the last video, they wouldn't accept her. I don't know if it was because it wasn't enough space or they just didn't know what to do or whatever. I don't know the circumstances behind that, but the woman wound up dying. And he wound up catching the virus because she did vomit at one point, and I don't know if it got on him or however else it, got into his system, but he wound up getting it. And he did, when they went through the checkpoints to come back to America, to Dallas, Texas, he did kind of lie. He didn't tell the complete truth that he'd been in contact with someone with the disease, and he wasn't showing symptoms. And then when he gets to his apartment that he was sharing with, I guess, his partner or his girlfriend or whatever, his girlfriend, her I think it's her son and her nephews. Either way, they was all sharing this apartment, and he started showing some symptoms, meaning that he had a fever, he was throwing up, diarrhea, and all that stuff. Taken to the hospital, they let him go, gave him some antibiotics. Come to find out, he did have the disease and they shouldn't let him go. They brought him back. They had the family quarantine, that whole apartment building. People were scared to go up in there to actually go and sanitize it when they should have. Um, they said the Ebola stuff lives in your body, whatever, for like 21 days. So they was gonna quarantine them for 21 days, and I think the last day is on the 19th of this month, October. But the sad case about it is, you let this man go, and he had 103-degree temperature. Fuck. God damn. Okay. HD camera just brings out every goddamn thing. I didn't even see that this morning. The fuck? That shit, and it hurt like it just popped up. Oh well. Still cute. But this ain't no joking matter. But yeah, they sent him home with 103-degree temperature and said, here, take these antibiotics. Come to find out, they brought him back. They were just now finna start treating him with an experimental drug or whatever that hasn't even been tested on humans yet, I believe. I don't know. Either way, it wasn't either it didn't work or it wasn't in enough time, because he wound up passing away a couple of days ago. I think it was Thursday that he wound up passing away. And it's just unfortunate. Maybe, I think, in my honest opinion, Had he spoke up about it, when he was over in Liberia in the airport or whatever, he should have said something. Maybe something could have been done. You know, maybe he probably would still be here, or if the hospital hadn't have fucked up a little bit, maybe he'd probably still be here. Probably still be sick, but he'll still be here. I don't know. It's so many factors that goes into this. They would have tried to give him the medicine, quick enough time. I don't know. But of course, race is being brought into it because he's a black African American, not an African American, but he's an African man. And I don't know if he was a citizen yet. When you become a citizen, that's when you become, you can put that American at the end. We're gonna get on to some shit. But either way, it was all unfortunate, and it's just sad from what I'm hearing because the NBC cameraman who got it, he's in Nebraska and he's getting blood transfusion from the doctor, the male doctor who first had it that they brought over here. Remember they brought the two, the man and the woman. And, of course, people want to say that's a race thing, too, because it's the white doctor giving up to the white man and all that stuff and yada, yada, yada. But from what I'm hearing, it's because dude in Dallas didn't have the same blood type as the doctor that they and the other one did. Coincidentally, I'm not saying, but I'm saying without saying, I don't know. It's things like this just gives way to a whole bunch of conspiracy theories and people and their ideas and thinking that, maybe the government has something to do with it. The government knows. You cannot tell me that they didn't. Like, come on, you should always be prepared for stuff that's going on. Everything just seems so fishy. And I'm not the type of person who gives into these conspiracy theories and, oh, the government got to do. But something is just not right. I honestly, truly feel like he was not going to get the real fucking treatment in the first place, whatever experimental drug or whatever the fuck, if they did give it to him or if they did, I don't know. I just feel like it really wasn't going to happen. Hey, it's just not adding up to me. And I just felt bad for the people that, his dying wish, the last thing that he wanted was to see his son, his 16-year-old son, who was away at school. And he lived in another part of Texas and he wasn't there. He didn't come in time. By the time he got the notice that, okay, your daddy wanted to see you, your daddy's sick, let me drive out here. By the time he got there, the daddy passed away, and that's just sad. And they got the people that he was staying with in another house quarantined. And I do appreciate the fact that, the little funeral service that they did have for him, it was supposed to be a memorial visual, like, keeping him in your prayers and stuff like that. It turned into this big thing. Like, it was a lot of people out there, just a lot of people, white people, black people, all this, different races was just out there supporting and paying their respects and stuff like that. And I said, wow, that's really nice. And it just felt so sad and disheartening for the fact that the family that he was with, that became his family, they couldn't pay their respects because they were quarantined. It said they literally, and they in this home, but they can't even touch each other. That's that has to tug at you. But my condolences, and we got to be more careful. I think they trying to train people now. So you want to say we ain't got nothing, bitch? Go make the vaccine and the antidote to get this shit. Something, the medicine to help, because it's always something. They may tell you, oh, we don't have a. They got something. See, now I'm sounding like that, but I'm just saying stuff is just making you think. Like, you got it. You can't really just look at the surface of things. You gotta look below that shit. You gotta look deeper, because something is just not fucking right. It's not clicking with me and a lot of other people. But anyway, moving on. Um Somebody put up here this chef in Australia who killed his transgender wife, who used to be a sex worker in Indonesia, sent all the money, home to Indonesia to her family and all that stuff. Killed her and ate her body parts and shit. Like, what? Who is? Oh, and fuck that. That's disgusting in itself. That's bruh. The 17-year-old teen who killed his mother and fucked the corpse, and gonna say, well, I guess I lost my virginity to a dead corpse. Gave no fucks at all. No fucks about it. Literally. He didn't give a shit. He turned around to that jury laughing. You know, he was just putting on the show for him. And I'm just like, what happened to you as a child? What happened to you? Because it was just, oh my God, I was just so disgusted. Like, really? They gave him life in jail, as they should have, because he showed no remorse. Something is definitely wrong with him, but then again, it probably ain't. He knew what he was doing. Ugh, I just cannot. And talk about some more stuff, you know, with kids and shit like that. We got one story. This 24-year-old dude having sex with, or I don't know if it was his girlfriend or whatever, but she 20 years old. She got a 1-year-old baby or whatever. Um, they claim they put the baby in another room and then they had sex or whatever. They finished. The baby is crying. So he takes the baby downstairs trying to feed it or whatever. The baby's still crying. Because the baby wouldn't stop crying, punched the baby on the right side of in the head, in the temple, in the brain. Like, bitch, are you stupid? So they had to take the baby to the hospital, and the only reason why we know about this is because they had to take the baby to the hospital because of the injuries that it had. They're not saying exactly what the injuries are, but come on now, you hit the baby in the side of the head. All it takes is somebody to bust your motherfucking temple, hit you hard enough in your temple, and you just gone. Okay, that can kill you right there. You can get brain damage like that. And this is a baby whose brain and skull and stuff, all that is still trying to fully develop, and you gonna punch it in the motherfucking head just because you want to stop crying? Seriously? Women, you gotta pick your mates much, much better than what we've been doing and what I've been seeing, okay? I'm just saying. And that's just not women because, you know, some men, they get fooled by the good looks and the good puss too and come to realize this bitch crazy as fuck. She might kill me in my sleep, you know. She on that psychotic shit, you know. But women, especially when you have kids, you cannot trust every man that comes in with a good smile. He got a nice set of teeth, you know, and he dressing nice. He got that money. He doing this, he doing that, and his thing might be on point too. You can't trust all that shit. Come the fuck on. People show you what they want to show you just to lure you in and to get you. And then as soon as they know that they got you fully, they got their grasp on you, they show you who they really are. You just gotta be, you can't be so trusting, especially when you have children. And that's for anybody in a relationship, whether you're a man or a woman. I'm just not here for that. Then there's this NYC, New York, not NYC, New York businesswoman. I think she used to work in pharmaceuticals or whatever. She had this, I think her son was 8 years old, autistic, artistic, autistic son. And she force fed him some I think she checked into some type of hotel or whatever and had a lethal concoction of poisonous drugs that was enough to kill her and her son. She was going through a nasty custody battle or divorce from her ex-husband or something like that. She did not want him to get custody of the son. And for the simple fact that she claimed to the jury that, you know, the boy was getting sexually molested. The boy can barely talk, but the words that he was saying to her was dad, butt, finger. Talking about himself, saying that dad was touching him. And I was like, I don't want to put that past her and say that, you know, because I'm always here for the victims, especially when it's children of sexual abuse or any type of abuse. So I won't put it past her that the little boy probably did say something like that. And then again, you know, she could have been making it up. I don't know, but I won't put it past that. And I think she was in a relationship with somebody else who was doing the same thing or trying to do the same thing. I'm like, girl, pick your... What is wrong with you? Why do you keep attracting these people? But anyway, the daddy said that never happened. He was, you know, nothing of that sort. But the boy did wind up passing away because he did, you know, uh, she killed him with the drugs or whatever. And she claims that she didn't get on top of him and force it into his mouth. But they said it was like bruises on his face and on his nose and all that stuff. You know, like when you trying to shove stuff down and, you know, he trying to resist or whatever. it's consistent to somebody forcing him to do the stuff, and she's saying basically that she didn't do it. And I'm sitting here like, why the fuck you ain't dead if it was enough to kill both of y'all? I just, girl, because you don't want your ex-husband to get custody. It's different ways to go about this, people. I know you think that, like, you want to protect people, but you want to protect your children or whatever. But killing them is not protecting them. You just killed them. They're not here. All right, come on. That's like, I can't get into that logic. Like, I've heard of people doing stuff like that just to protect their kids. I mean, I guess in certain situations, well, no, no, kill yourself first. No, I'm sorry. Just, oh my God, that is not the answer. I'm not here for it. But moving on. Murder suicide. Girl, this is so depressing. Did y'all hear about this kid shit? This is why I say all the time, say it with me, because I'm pretty sure y'all know what I'm about to say. Just because you can reproduce doesn't mean that you should. This 4-year-old girl go to school, and she handing out, I don't know if it was a girl or a boy, but child, go to school, handing out these packages, thought it was candy to her classmate. Come to find out, what she is handing out is that heroin. I said, preschool. Yeah, the mama was a fucking nigga. Fucking goddamn nigga. Like, really? Really? Come on. You gonna be doing this illegal shit? Why are you gonna have a gun in the house? Put it somewhere where the kids can't get it, where it's locked up or whatever. Even if they do find it, they can't open up the thing. The safety is on. Ain't no bullet in the chamber. So just in case, what if the box would have dropped and then this trigger go off, even if it's in the safe? You know, you never know what can happen. You got to take these precautions, okay? It's called baby proofing your house. It's called, protecting and being safe and all that stuff when you have kids. Okay, life becomes very much different. It's not just about you and your safety. It is about your child. How dare you sit around and do all this illegal shit and keep these drugs and all this stuff in the area where your child can just stumble upon it, and then not knowing what it is, because kids will be kids. They nosy as fuck. They'll be all up in your goddamn business. Take your shit. Go back, tell your business to somebody else and twist the story all the way around. We had to tell my sister, whatever goes on in this house, whatever is said about other stuff, you keep our business up in this house, okay? Okay? You shut that all the way up. Same thing. Same goddamn, my head is draping, bitch. Okay? Same thing. Same goddamn thing. Left this shit out for this child to get it. Now, what if she would have ate it instead of taking it to school and somebody finding out about it? Now you put the life of your child in danger and the life of her whole classroom in danger too. Throw your ass in jail. She did get arrested. I'm pretty sure she's finna get some years. She's finna get some years. It don't make no sense. Ignorance. Then we have some more stuff that's going on with the cops and things of that matter. A few nights ago, I heard about a teenager, 18-year-old. He got shot and killed by an off-duty officer who was, I guess he was like moonlighting, doing some other things for a security company. But technically they just said he was off duty, meaning he wasn't working with the police force. I guess at that time he clocked out, he was clocked in at another job, that he was just working security or whatever, and comes across this group of boys, I guess teenage boys, whatever, like 4 of them. One of them started running. My question about this whole thing is, why would you run? Are you guilty? Are you holding something? What's the issue? Especially seeing that it's in Missouri, it's in St. Louis, around Ferguson and all that stuff and all this shit. Don't give them a reason to suspect you or whatever. Just continue doing. Then so that you can, that you didn't do nothing wrong. Don't fucking run. Don't fucking resist at this point, because these motherfuckers are crazy. They just looking for, some of them ain't even looking for a reason. They just do shit just to do shit. Now that's what one story is saying, that he ran and then, the officer got in the car, followed them, and then that's when everybody else ran. And then they saying that, you know, a shootout kind of happened between the both of them. And one report, the initial report basically said that the boy, 18-year-old teen, he had a gun and he shot and reached out and shot at the cop first. And he fired off three shots at the cop. And I think his gun jammed or some shit like that. But then the cop fired back 17 shots at him, and then a couple of shots hit the boy and killed him. Then another report comes out with the mother saying that he didn't have no gun. The only thing that he had was a sandwich on him. And I said, oh, girl, you know this? Were you with him? I don't want to put it past and say that, the boy didn't have anything on him. And I don't want to say right off the back that, the cop is lying or the police department is lying. But somebody is lying somewhere. And unless, because kids do stuff in the presence of their parents that they won't do. They do stuff out of the presence of their parents that they won't do in their presence. So you never know. And it's a lot of questions. Like, did he have a gun for real, for real? Okay? Now, if he had a gun, still, why were you shooting so many goddamn shots? Even if he didn't have a gun, why were you shooting so many shots? And what was the purpose of stopping them in the first place? What was the purpose? Why did y'all run too? That's just it's so many questions. And you would think with all this stuff that's been going on, people, especially the cops, y'all getting caught up in a lot of stuff. It just, you would think they would take stuff and do it just a little bit differently. Actually go by the rules and shit like that, and not take matters into their own hands. But no, they're still fucking up, and it's just almost like they just don't give a fuck. With all the scrutiny that's been coming out against them, they just don't give a fuck. It's like we can't really trust their asses. And I feel bad because these bad cops that's out here that's keep getting all this shine or whatever, that the media keep reporting about, that the incidents that we keep on hearing about on Twitter or whatever, any type of social network, it's making the actual good cops look bad. Because they all lumping the cops all together. It's no good, it's no bad, it's just y'all cops and we don't fuck with y'all because y'all try to kill us. That's what it is. And it's just sad that that's what it is. But speaking of which, this incident that happened in Hammond, Indiana, September 25th. This couple was driving. They get pulled over for seatbelt violations. Okay, the woman was driving the car. They're on their way to the hospital to see her mother, I believe, because she's about to pass away. She's on her last breath. And that's what they're trying to get to the hospital for. Okay, yeah, follow the rules. You don't have your seatbelt on. Yeah, give them a ticket. Fine, give them a ticket. Then all of a sudden, now see, I don't get tickets, so I don't know how this works. But I thought they just needed to see the identification of the people. I didn't know, tell me how this works. They do get the identification of everybody in the car or whatever. I don't know. Either way, dude didn't have no idea, anything like that. He just had some other paper with his, saying who he was and where he just came from or whatever. And he gave that to the officer. And he was telling the two officers that was on the door talking to them or whatever, that dude just got my stuff. He running the stuff. And then one of the officers was gonna say something. I don't remember that. I said, wait a minute. So y'all trying to lie, say that he didn't give y'all nothing? I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? That was one right there. Come to find out, I believe girl was on the phone talking on the phone, and I think she was on the phone with 911, recounting and telling everything what was going on right then and there. And you could just hear she was like, I'm scared. We supposed to trust them, and they doing all this stuff, and it's like, they out here just hurting people. So I'm scared right now. I'm really scared. She's on the phone with I think they said it was 911 and she was on the phone with, and they talking to the cops. Next thing dude trying to tell them about his situation and why he don't have like an ID or whatever, and he gave them the papers and all the other stuff that he did have to show who he was, and I guess they wasn't satisfied, and then gonna tell him to get about the car. For what? For the fuck what? It was like, I'm not open, and the reason why he said that he wasn't opening up the door or some shit like that is because of the hostility that was coming off of him. They were just doing too much. They was a little bit too fucking aggressive. Okay, I would have feared for my life too if you doing all this and then all of a sudden you want me to get out the car, and what the fuck did I do? I complied with everything that you said. Now you want me to get out the car and I can see it in your face that you fucking angry or some shit is going on. I feel it in my spirit. Thank God her son was back there. Her 14-year-old son and her other younger daughter was, kids are in the back seat. The 14-year-old son is filming this. Next thing you know, he go get a pickaxe or whatever the fuck and bust the window in. The little girl just starts screaming and she's crying, and you would think that would do something to a person and just say, okay, no, I see these kids back here. No, he proceeds to get the taser and just taser this motherfucker for no reason. The little girl is just crying and all this stuff, and I'm just like, are you serious? Was all that necessary? And of course, they suing, as they should. But you got the Hammond Police Department basically saying, they gonna back the officers, saying that if an officer pulled someone over for a vehicle violation or whatever, something like that, they have the right to, require that person to get out the car without any, evidence or some shit, some crap like that. And I'm just sitting here like, okay, but was it really necessary to bust that window open like that? Was it really necessary to taser him like that? No, it was not. No, it was not. And if he was offering some type of fucking resistance, you go get backup. Like, what? He wasn't throwing no threat or nothing. It's just, I hope they win their case. I really do. But then again, probably won't because it's the fucking police, bitch. But, excuse me. I'm trying to see if there's any. Yes. This black teenager who was a foster kid, he got adopted into a white family. The mother of the family, I guess they just moved into this neighborhood, gave him a key, or didn't have him a key yet, or something like that. Either way, she left the front door unlocked, I think, for him to come in. And, I guess because he's this black guy, somebody in the neighborhood, a neighbor, whatever, called the cops and said somebody was breaking into this house. This black guy was breaking into the house. Imagine he's 17 years old. Trying to say that he was burglarizing the house and all that stuff. So the cops get there and they telling him to get out the house and doing all this stuff. And what irked me so bad about this, okay, you probably made a mistake, and of course he's gonna resist a little bit because, he's like, what are you talking about? I live here, this is my home, this is my family. And it was like, what the cop gonna say, this ain't your family because you're not in this picture. The people in this family is white. I said, are you serious? This shows how fucking ignorant people really are till this day when it comes to shit like this. Like, just because it's a white fucking family, you don't think bitch, that's what pissed him off. And it would have pissed me off too. And then they're going to try to say that, he was being belligerent with the cops and stuff like that. No, you pissed him off. You disrespected him. Okay? You accused him because he's a black boy in this probably predominantly white neighborhood. You accused him with a white foster parent. Accused him of burglarizing their own home. And then he was like, I was just now feeling comfortable enough to call this my home and stuff like this. And then this shit happens. Like, girl, what? I can't. I just fucking can't. But, why you put this shit on here? This is so stupid. Anyway, moving on. One of the big controversies that's been happening this week was when Raven-Symone got on this past Sunday, I believe. I believe that's when it comes on. Oprah does this Where Are They Now with the celebrities on her own channel. And Raven-Symone was on there. And I didn't even watch the interview. I watched the clip or whatever. And this what got people up in an uproar when, you know, she was talking about the tweet that she made after they legalized gay marriage or some shit like that. And she was like, good, finally me, I can get married in this country or something like that, or this state. And put two and two together. You didn't have to go out so far across the street and around the corner to understand that what she was saying is that she's a gay woman. All right, she's a lesbian. She basically told Oprah, you know, I don't want to be labeled as a as gay, and then said I don't want to be labeled as African American. She's an American. She's a person who loves other people. And of course, people got so up in their feelings about what she said because I'm pretty sure a lot of people felt as if she was denouncing her heritage, denouncing her roots, and she was basically like, I don't know where my roots began. I don't know where they began. I don't know from what country and stuff like that, but I know I have roots in Louisiana and shit like that. I didn't take offense to what Raven said. I knew what she was talking about. You know, she could have worded it differently. You don't want to be labeled, but technically, you know, if you call yourself an American, you're being labeled. You call yourself a woman, you're being fucking labeled. I mean, labels are everywhere. Now, when it comes to the sexuality thing, I never really heard somebody say they don't want to be labeled as a gay person when they're a homosexual or that matter. I've heard within the gay community, like there's label within the gay community, gay lesbian community, like for females, you have your studs, with are the dominant, you know, um, the ones that probably dress up in like, you know, dude clothes and stuff like that. The more dominant, masculine type, you know, people. And then you have your films, and then you have your films, and your then in the gay community you have like your tops, your bottoms, your verses, power bottoms, and then you have like your pillow princesses, and you have your, you know, all this stuff, studs and stems, and it's a whole lot. It's bitch. Let me tell you something. I could do a whole video on all of this shit. It'd take a while too, and it probably still won't get it all out there, but I've heard within that people, you know, when people say when it comes to those type of labels, it's like I don't need to be labeled as to what it is that I am. I'm just a gay person, and I love who I love. It doesn't matter who I sleep with or whatever. I've heard it in that context, and I'll be like, okay, fine, I get it, because you know, who cares if you're a stud? Who cares if you're a femme? You know, at the end of the day, you like women, and that's what it is. You know, who cares if you're a top or a bottom? At the end of the day, you like men. That's what it is. You know, when it comes to the gays. I get that. I get that. But I mean, I don't see how you cannot not label yourself as a gay person if you're a gay person. You're not just. I don't know. It's a tricky situation. But when it comes to the African, I get where she was trying to go with that. And in the African American situation, it's like she said she's colorless. But baby, we live in a country in a world that all we see are colors, and that's what everybody else see. We haven't got that far advanced yet that we can say we're colorless, meaning that we don't see, oh, you can't get this because you're black. You can't do this because you're not white. You know, we don't see it far like that. We ain't there yet, baby. But I really don't think that she was trying to denounce her African roots. She just didn't know where they came from. And I get what she was saying right then and there. Like, you have some people who do say they would rather be called black Americans than saying African American, because for them, they're a black person who lives in America, and for them, from what they know, their roots and their family is here in America. But technically, life started in Africa. We all come from Africa, and most importantly, our ancestors were shipped here. Okay, so therefore, that's where that African American come from. But a lot of us, we don't know exactly what country in the continent of Africa we come from. But still, to say, I mean, I get the uproar. I get the uproar, but I think people was just taking it a little too far. But I get what she was trying to say, and I get why people was mad, you know. But I'm gonna just say this: I'm an African American. I'm a Black American. You know, I'm in touch with my roots. I know my ancestors come from Africa. Do I know exactly what country in Africa? No, I do not. But I know that's where we originated from. And I also know that I'm mixed with a whole bunch of other stuff. Like, we got Puerto Rican, and come the fuck on. Half of them on that island, they're African blood too. So I'm just saying. I got Filipino, we got European, and I don't know exactly which country, but we got a whole bunch of that. It's a whole, like, we are a melting pot up in my family, like a fucking melting pot for real. Then you got, like, I guess it's probably what, I could see it if that's what she meant. Like, I'm just not African American because I'm mixed with this and I'm mixed with that. Okay, I get it. But baby, that's what people classify you as, and there is nothing wrong with being classified with an African American. I love being a black person. I love the culture. Not the ignorant part of it, but I love the culture. I love who I am. I love my skin. I love my people, and it is what it is. But I don't think that she was trying to denounce where she's from. But it's just so complicated. It's just so, even when I'm talking about it now, it's just so complicated, and it sounds, I don't know. Y'all tell me how y'all feel about it. But then one thing that I did not agree with, and baby, when she said think about the texture, oh, I got good hair or some shit like that, I'm like, you could have kept that to yourself. You could have kept that to yourself, because that opens up a whole nother debate about this good hair versus bad hair, that nappy hair versus that straight, and then next thing you know, we're gonna have the light skin versus the dark skin shit. Oh, that's colorism. So we're not a colorless. You're not colorless. That's colorism. What you just perpetuated a fucking stereotype. Oh my god. Oh my god, I get it now. Like, shit just fucking hit me. It just hit me like, damn. Girl, look. Raven, select your words. Oprah was trying to warn your ass, like, but I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but I get where she was coming from. I guess, the context and what she was saying could have been a little more thought out before she said it, but it is what it is. So y'all tell me how y'all feel about it. I'm pretty sure that y'all are going to have some shit to say on that one. But Lil Mo and that boy, they married. I don't care. I thought they was already married. She do got a book out. Tame Lil Mo. It came out on the 7th, so go check that out. We had this whole thing about Portia. Okay. Oh fucking K. Okay. First of all, let me get this other shit out the way. Stephen Collins, you ruined everything for me right about now. Y'all don't know who Stephen Collins is. He was the daddy off of Seven Heaven. Seven Heaven, when I see their smiling faces, smiling back at me, where do you go? When the look, don't. Now it's just tarnished, because you were a preacher. You was a reverend. I mean, that don't mean shit, because look at all the sex abuse crimes coming out against the church, against priests, against all these other people. But you played a reverend, goody tooty, stability, reverend, pastor with all these kids, and the one that everybody came and, discuss their problems with you on Seventh Heaven, which was a really good TV show until like the last few seasons. I was like, and then all of a sudden you and your wife are going through this nasty divorce, and it comes out doing a therapy session with your wife and your therapist that was being recorded, that you probably didn't know, but it's legal over there in California, I guess, and that you touched little girls, that you molested these little girls, that you either exposed yourself or had them to touch you. Oh my god, when I found this out, I said, oh no, this can't be true, until I heard the audio tape, and I was like, that's definitely his voice. I was just, and they not playing with this situation. They are not playing at all. They snatched Seven Heaven out of syndication. You just fucked up people money. Girl. And then what irked me was when TMZ, caught up with Catherine, I think that's her name. She played the wife, okay, on Seven Heaven. She also played in Child's Play 1, I think it was. She was the mama. Child's Play, that's Chucky, okay? I caught up with her, and she was basically like, He's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's my friend. I just never would have thought, but he's just such a good guy. And I'm just sitting here like, just because a person appear to be a good guy don't mean that they ain't doing something else that you don't know about behind closed doors, baby. Okay? And if it's audio taping is proof, come to terms with it. It happened. They was like, of course he probably didn't exhibit nothing on set or whatever. And it just hit me about something. The little girl that played Ruthie, she came onto that show when she was young. Like when she was real young. Like she literally grew up on that show. And I couldn't stand her sometimes because her mouth was like, girl, I want to punch her in her face. Like, girl, shut the fuck up. You smart ass. You know? She was young. I was like, oh my God, what if you did something to her? I don't want to think that. But my man just went there. You never know. You never know. You can't trust anybody these days. It's just so sad. But that's fucked up. Oh my God, that's fucked up. Okay. And we're going to transition. We're going to try to get to some other stuff. I forgot to talk about this last week. The Real Housewives of Atlanta season 7 trailer. This season, oh my God, I hope that since they gave us this bomb ass trailer, they gave it to us and we were just sitting here like this. Oh shit, bitch. Oh shit, bitch. I can't wait. I can't wait. I hope I'm like that throughout the whole season because you know they give them like 20 some damn episodes and then by it probably be good for like the first 5 episodes and then when it gets to episode 6, 7, and 8, you be sitting here like, then probably episode 9, 10 pick up a little bit. Then it go back down for like 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Then towards the end it want to pick up and then that finale be just so boring. I hope it do not do a roller coaster of emotions like that. I don't have the time for it this time. I want it to be off the fucking chain the whole season through. Okay? Um that trailer. Kenya and Nene, are they cool again? Bitch, I had questions on that from that. Okay, Claudia Jordan is back in here to start some shit. Nene and Claudia don't. Oh, that's why Hollywood don't want you. Fuck. Well, fuck Atlanta do, cause I'm here. I said, you know, Claudia Jordan, I don't like her. I've never liked Claudia Jordan. I just never saw it for her. Never, never, never. Like from years ago, never saw it for her. Like she just I don't know. It just something about her just irks me. And I heard some shit about her. Girl, you know, they said she a hoe. She used to go with Tom Jordan. She used to do this. She broke up a marriage. I don't go off of hearsay, but it's something about her personality. You know, that's not why I don't like her, but something about her personality just doesn't mesh well with me. And you know, it is what it is. So, but I'm pretty sure she's gonna bring some drama. Um, she might be hooking up with Cordell. That is fucked up. Mind you, Cordell didn't even want to do this show, but now since you divorced stuff, you're all over it. Like, girl, what? I'm confused. I'm so fucking confused. Now, what a lot of people confused about with Portia, she's no longer holding the peach, and it's not because Andy Cohen came out and said this. It's not because of the fight that happened at the reunion. She just wasn't opening up to, you know, they didn't, you know, want to. She just, I guess, didn't want to get so involved in her life or whatever, wasn't putting out enough for her personally to be awarded that title of a housewife. Or I guess her storyline by herself was not interesting enough. She wasn't giving them enough and allowing them to film enough on that aspect of her personal stuff. But she will be in the show. She's still on the season and she will be in a lot of scenes throughout the whole season. So technically she's going to be on the show like regular, but she just don't have a piece. She got demoted. And it's no hard feelings from Andy or whatever. He wants her to stay. So it is what it is. So y'all can shut that up about her getting fired. Demotion and firing is not the same thing. Okay? You know, when you get a promotion, that means you go up. When you get demoted, that means you got pushed down a position or two. You know, that's all it means. Fired means you're no longer going to be showed on this shit. All right? That's what that means. Okay? The shit that's going to probably... Phaedra and Apollo... Speaking of which, look, Apollo going to jail. That motherfucker's trying to being a bitch, trying to accuse her of cheating on him. You know, I ain't gonna say that it didn't happen because I don't know what goes on in their family. But hey, I just don't put it. I just can't see Phaedra doing that. You know, especially with them two. Come on now. But if she did, I mean, I ain't mad at her. Because look at the bullshit that you putting her through. All right. But then again, Phaedra, you knew who you was marrying when you married her. So I can't really, it is what it is. So, yeah. He's snitching to Peter, talking about cheating on him with somebody named Mr. X or Mr. Chocolate or some shit like that. Then, of course, Peter telling Cynthia telling Kenya, because all of a sudden, Cynthia and Kenya butt buddies. And, Kenya want to throw it up in Phaedra's face, and Phaedra was like, you know what? I'm over this. And reached over that table trying to fuck Kenya up. I just can't wait for that, because I can't stand Kenya. And I'm saying that already now. Y'all already know. You already know. And don't even try it this season. Don't try it this season. All right? It is what it is. You Kenya stands and all this shit, bitch. Y'all just do a little bit too fucking much. I hate stand shit. We'll get on that in a second. And then Apollo come up in the house. You took everything from me. You took everything from me. You did this. You did that. I was like, I built this shit. I said you did. With what? The money you stole? Is that what you trying to refer to? Because from the last time we seen, Phaedra had money and shit established before you. I'm just saying. But you never know. You never know. And his ass going to jail, and Phaedra done filed for divorce. Like we did not see that shit coming. Oh well. Oh the fuck well. But when Cynthia looked like she grew some balls since the last season. She was like, oh, you want to do me like that in the fucking reunion? You want to say that shit to me? And then you want to crawl back and say you miss my friendship? Friendship contract up in smokes. Literally. In flames. I said, okay, Cynthia. It's about time you try to... Don't get us hyped like you finna get your backbone, and then we see the show and we be like, bitch, what? You ain't fucking changed. Shit, you still a weak bitch. Don't do that, sus. I'm kind of over the Joyce and Todd and Candy situation, but the only thing that I want to see is when Todd mama say she'll fuck Joyce up. That's all I want to see when it comes to them. But other than that, y'all tell me how y'all feel about this season, how it's gonna go. Of course, y'all know I'm gonna review it because y'all know that's what it is. That's where it's at. But, it is what it is. It is what it is. Moving on.